2 days have passed since King Nomus attempted to assassinate the top 4 zombies. Ever since the incident, the zombies are on high alert to exterminate any gnomes they come across. This causes them to ignore the plans for the time being. In outer space, Moon Base C, Astronaut is scouting the empty checkpoints. He does this to pass the time when he is bored on Earth, certainly better than to practice his aim at the shooter range. He wishes to take his companion here, so that he isn't alone, but he knows that would be a bad idea. As he is hopping around with low gravity on the moon, he spots something green in the far distance. He instinctively aimed his moon rock launcher at the suspicious figure. Astronaut sees fire, but only because the voice did not sound like anyone he has heard it before. He approached the green figure to get a better look at him. As he got closer, he discovered that this is a green gnome that was by himself. The lone gnome hopped closer to Astronaut, but he used his gun to fire a few shots around the gnome's feet, a warning shot. While the gnome showed no expression other than the forced smile on his porcelain face, Astronaut could sense fear from the green gnome. The gnome tried bringing it to him, but Astronaut steadied his aim. The gnome complied, dropping the device and kicked it over to the undead spaceman. The astronaut leaned down to pick it up with his free hand, the other hand still gripping his gun. Astronaut pockets the device, intending to bring it to Zomboss when he gets back to Earth. Astronaut contemplated, would sparing the gnome change anything? If King Nomus valued the life of this gnome, he would have sent more gnomes to protect him. Dr. Zomboss would want Astronaut to shoot him, so would everyone else. But what makes him reluctant on pulling the trigger is him thinking about if the roles were reversed. If the gnome had a gun, Astronaut would want him to not pull the trigger. It would be different if both of them were armed, but this gnome came unarmed with no means to defend himself. Astronaut came to a decision and lowered his arm. The gnome promptly turned around and began hopping away, quickly disappearing out of sight. This isn't the first time he let an enemy go. Back on planet Earth, Astronaut came to the office, where Dr. Zomboss was staring at a clipboard of all the data and information about the gnomes. The astronaut placed the device on the table. Zomboss pressed a button, which caused the device to summon a holographic screen that showed King Nomus sitting comfortably in his chair.
Ancora paracra! Pato sommatrara! Du gotaroro! Graco gare grokra!
Later that night, Astronaut returned to his room and closed the door, locking it to ensure no one else could barge into here. He sits on his bed, contemplating about how he could live with this. He took his space helmet off, despite the fact he didn't need it on or off. She crawled out from under the bed. She crawled back underneath the bed and exited his room through the hole they dug together once.